Without being too malicious, what made you unfollow a sub you used to enjoy? R. Trashy because the mods will remove someone's post and then repost it to reap karma points. They will delete comments pointing this out too. I unsub because weirdos would photograph strangers in public for no reason and mock them online. That's pretty fucking trashy. R. Unpopular opinion. I got downvoted for giving an unpopular opinion. It was not even about a controversial topic, just about food. Yet most opinions in the top page are actually popular opinions. Also, most fandoms subreddits are full of people hating on the show, book, movie, game that they claim to be fan of. Our unpopular opinion was doomed to fail in its purpose from the second it was conceived. The upvote and downvote buttons usually mean agree and disagree, respectively. But that doesn't really mean anything in this sub when it comes to whether something is unpopular or not. A lot of that subreddit is racism, homophobia, or a popular opinion. Got a few. R. Personal finance. My wife and I used to be interested in it. Still use a lot of tips we learned. But it's just a circle jerk of one-uppers and contrarians. R. Choosing beggars used to be funny messages from prospective buyers. Now it's just contrived sagas meant to poke at every Redditor emotion, to get as much karma as possible. Podcast subs get bad, too. People have to have some kind of conspiracy to invest all their time into. Personal finance bugged me also because it was a mix of, I have a giant inheritance, and I make a lot and spend very little. How good am I at not spending? Very little about balancing finance, managing portfolios, how money actually works, etc. You, too, can be financially independent. All you have to do is wisely invest that $300,000 you will inherit from grandma. People that can't figure that out are idiots. R. Personal finance in a nutshell. I'm tempted to leave R. AskReddit if I see any more. Your username is your posts. But would you do what your username suggests for $100 million? I think the money ones are worse. The ones that make the top of the sub are always minor inconveniences or even positive bonuses for a lot of Reddit users to earn a ridiculous amount of money. Reddit. Would you take $50 million? But you have to live by yourself for a year in a house isolated from society. Except for a computer with internet access, a television with all the cable channels, and a fully stocked fridge that magically has all your favorite foods. Do I have to leave? Can I live there permanently for as long as I like? Quote. Our data is beautiful because I don't care about people's job searches and Tinder matches. They should rename it R. I think data about my life is beautiful. For real. None of them say anything new or interesting. Finding a job is hard. Getting a match on Tinder is hard. We get it. Weird opaque mod rules. At least AskReddit tells you why a post was removed. Many places are weirdly opaque and kinda dickish about it. Kafar relationships. When I started eating vegan, I followed a lot of vegan food recipe subs because I am terrible at figuring out what to cook by myself. It was helpful in meal planning. But then one sub somehow decided that any form of oil, while vegan, was bad. They'd all collectively bash anyone who dared post a recipe using oil, and eventually added a rule that this is an oil-free sub. It was pretty bizarre, and they were needlessly aggressive towards anyone who dared ask why. That is both hilarious and very strange. Oil? Question mark. Question mark. Was there a reason why? R. Bone apple tea. I joined because the popular ones are truly fantastic. But too many of them were just dumb. And many of them read like simple autocorrect outputs. Same thing for R. S. Bubby. A lot of them just don't make sense considering what it's mocking. It's like when a grown man's voice cracks. It's hilarious when it pops up out of the blue when the person had no intention of doing so. But if that same grown man started forcing his voice to crack in order to get a cheap laugh, people would get tired of that pretty quickly. Not interesting. Things got way too interesting in that sub, and people kind of started missing the point of the whole thing. Same shit with oddly satisfying. I was excited when I first found it, cause it scratches a very specific itch. But it quickly devolved into pictures of cool stuff that are completely off topic and mods don't seem to give a shit. The fuck does this admittedly hilarious video have to do with anything? Power washing porn does a better job at being oddly satisfying most of the time. Ha ha ha, this is my favorite. Most subs eventually become repetitive and dumb the longer you stay. Hobby ones aren't too bad. Things like model making, cycling, that sort of thing. But woe betide you if you follow something like a movie, game, TV show and something goes bad. The sub will be endless whinging. Am I the asshole? People have the most extreme reactions for every post. It's always divorce him, break off from your family. It's just over the top BS. I actually enjoy it when the truth trickles out in the comments section, especially from the op. It pisses me off how many people think that because what you did was legal that makes you not an asshole. Stop acting like Dwight Schrute. I got out of the Rick and Morty subreddit right around when the Szechuan sauce ordeal was in its height. Scary times. I've never been embarrassed by being a fan of something until that time. Honestly, it has turned me off to the show, which is kind of a bummer. I haven't watched a single episode of the new season and only barely cared about the last. Oh well. Not like it's a big loss or anything, but just a weird experience. Love the show. Don't really enjoy the fanbase though. I still love it, and don't give a fuck who knows it. But I'm not like the people yelling I am Pickle Rick. Wubba lubba dub dub in the McDonald's after demanding the Mulan sauce. It's an extremely well-written show and deserves to be loved. Unpopular opinion, for obvious reasons. Unpopular opinion, but I think that socks should be worn on your feet. Good riddance. There are two kinds of posts on that sub. Unpopular opinion. Oxygen is required for humans to breathe, and unpopular opinion. Insert worst thing your racist uncle has ever said. Quote. I'm a Star Wars fan, but I do not enjoy discussing it with other Star Wars fans. Nobody hates a thing more than the fans of that thing. It is known. You don't want to read heartfelt novels about how some random Redditor has given up on Star Wars and will never watch it again. Raised by narcissists. I felt I had found my people. But after seeing just how many shit parents existed, I began to get depressed from that knowledge and had to unfollow to preserve my sanity. It's also that a lot of it is just armchair diagnosis. There's an obsession with dubbing every person who behaved negatively a narcissist when the disorder is pretty rare. Many of the posts there are actually just about abusive parents, not narcissistic parents. I have to take breaks from it for this reason. I really do love the support of the community though. Most of the subs I've stopped frequenting have either been due to moderators being dicks. Off My Chest is a very good example of this. Or due to the subreddit's community becoming increasingly hostile and toxic. I think our banned from Off My Chest would be huge sub which shall remain nameless. The moderators put up a sticky post about some proposed rule changes and asked for feedback. I politely said that some of those rules could cause issues down the road as they encouraged over-moderation, which in turn kills a lot of small to mid-sized subs. Apparently I needed to be called a twat by half of the mod team for that. A lot of mods are power-tripping petty tyrants. I ran into one earlier today. you twat. Random underscore ax underscore of underscore pizza. Unmobile. Sorry. I thought it was neat. Donated 2x. Only to have one of them DM me multiple times for more. And random DMS begging. I liked it to try and pay it FWDECT. People being people can really ruin good things. I thought it was gonna be fun. Like, hey, I'm getting pizza in Vancouver in a couple hours. Anyone wanna join? But it's just people who want a free meal.
Subscribe for more hot Reddit takes in your inbox, guaranteed.